Spoiler alert.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Boom.
Boom.
Boom, baby.
So my name is Simi. I'm 27 and I'm in enterprise sales. So I work with CIOs in about 9 states and try to move them to the cloud.
I'm Tony. I'm 28, and I'm in strategic sales in a software company where we work on marketing and brand strategy through their links.
I need feminism because someone who lives close to me makes a different amount for a different job at a different company. Wage discrimination is a widespread epidemic perpetuated by a white supremacist capitalist patriarchy, and it has to end.
Why did you agree to do this?
I know, that is a good question. The reason I really agreed to do this is because we never talk about minority women versus other women.
Yeah, I agree. Feminism doesn't pit women against each other nearly enough, let alone on a purely racial basis. We definitely need more reasons for women to hate other women. Boyfriends of the world will thank you, I'm sure. But you know, you're sitting across from a man right now, so your reason is dog shit. Fuck, you make too much money.
It's awesome.
Is it, Tony? Is it awesome, Tony? How long have you been married, Tony?
This man has no dick.
Yeah, why did you agree?
I would self-identify as a feminist.
I like it.
Right?
Oh, Tony, that's awesome, Tony. Did you do this on purpose, Tony? I bet you did. I bet you were like, you know what? I bet I make too much money. I'm not going to aggressively pursue that raise or higher position for women everywhere. Tony's all about the ladies. You can tell by how he's constantly a few inches away from the fetal position. Nothing says I'm with her like feeling like a prisoner in your own skin.
It's awesome. Do you feel like you're paid what you deserve?
Oof, that is so direct. I definitely wouldn't complain about the amount of money I make. I think it's great, but I do know that a lot of my peers make more money than me, and I don't think that it's completely based on merit. So I guess the answer is no.
Of course not, honey. Of course not. And I'm guessing that since your reason for talking to a man about the wage gap is that there's a wage gap for women of different races, that you know some white bitch who makes more than you and assume it's because she's white. But did you ever think it has nothing to do with race, Simi? Maybe it's because that other girl doesn't cover up her cleavage with a strategically placed scarf or whatever this is. Stick to the narrative. Men are monsters.
What about you?
I think, generally speaking, I'm pretty okay in the short term. If I continue to get paid when I close the deals, what I expect to get paid,
Then
it's okay.
good.
If I get the money I agreed on for doing the job I agreed to do, it's okay. It's almost like Tony is focused on his bottom line rather than what everybody else is making. It's almost like he has bills to pay, maybe mouths to feed, and his primary concern is paying those bills and feeding those mouths. I wonder if Simi has a boyfriend or a husband, and since wealthy women tend to seek out partners who make equal or more pay, I wonder what that boyfriend or husband makes. I mean, I don't know for sure, but it's almost like there's some kind of social safety net that allows her to focus on trivial bullshit, while Tony here is just happy to get what he agreed on and keep the fucking lights on.
Did you negotiate your pay?
I did.
Okay.
I actually worked with a negotiation coach.
You could afford a negotiation coach. What the fuck? You could have... You privileged cunt. You make $140,000 a year, and you don't think you make enough money, and you hired a negotiation coach. Maybe you should ask for your money back. Maybe you should ask this fucking coach for your money back. It didn't work. Some white bitch makes more than me.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ta-da! Okay, I kind of spoiled the surprise on this one, but she makes a part-time job more than he does, and yet she's sat here talking to him about how shit's not fair when you're a woman of color in the workplace. What have we learned? Nothing. Not a single thing. I'm sorry for wasting your time. I'm gonna keep going, though. AdSense money, you know how it is.
What do you think explains why this case defies the pay gap?
My assumption is that if you don't know your value relative it's hard.
Shut up, Tony, shut up. The reason this defies the pay gap is because the pay gap is based on bullshit metrics. You don't work the same job, you don't work for the same company. There is literally no reasonable expectation you or she should have to make the same amount of money.
3, 2, 1, go.
Well, now this one might have some promise. She makes considerably less than he does. Let's see what they do. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Hi, I'm Rose. I'm a senior account specialist at a PR agency. I've been in the industry over 16 years. My focus is technology.
My name is Danilo. I work for an energy company. Basically, I can be described as a digital strategist.
Just for the sake of keeping my head pain-free, I'm going to assume that digital strategist and senior account specialist with a focus on technology are the same job. But energy companies are going to be larger and more important than PR agencies. It's not just the fact that these are different companies that makes this bullshit, it's the fact that the focus and the scale of these companies are entirely different.
After my second son, I did take some time off, which I think hurt my career.
I respect you to make more than me.
Yeah. I mean, years ago, I did make more than this, but again, because I took those couple of years off and only worked part-time, it's almost like you have to start over.
Almost, but it's more like you don't advance in an industry when you're not present for a few years, especially a rapidly changing industry like tech. You could have stayed where you were and advanced, but you had kids, and you chose to stay with those kids. Those were choices you made and undoubtedly knew that they'd affect the wages you earn. I don't know where the father was in all this, but I think it's safe to assume you didn't take time off to live in poverty, and gradually coming back to work part-time was never going to be enough to catapult you forward in your career. But $70,000 a year is good money, and there's more to life than a number, right? Right? Like being present for the first few years of your child's life? No? No feminism? Big money is what matters? This is how we measure our value as people?
Even though I knew you probably made more than me, it's just actually seeing it. It's tough to actually see.
Well, you're a cunt.
My name is Kelly. I'm 25 years old. I work at a publishing company as a graphic designer.
My name's Eric, I'm 27, and I'm a graphic designer. I work in a media company.
Okay, two graphic designers at very similar companies. Still different companies, so still bullshit, and what kind of graphic design you do matters a real lot, but I'm not gonna spoil this one, because it's close enough to sort of almost having promise.
I experience sexist things on like a minute-to-minute basis, but like offhanded comments or like assumptions, like men sometimes treating me like I'm lost or confused, and me being like,
You respond to people treating you like you're lost or confused by acting lost and confused. That is adorable.
Did you negotiate your pay?
I only did it once at my last company, and the first time I went in to do it, I chickened out and didn't actually ask for the raise.
Really?
Yeah. Ugh, I'm not good at that kind of stuff.
Not many people are. Don't worry though, you could just throw away hundreds of dollars on a negotiation coach and then bitch about being oppressed because you're gay or something. I'm assuming he's gay.
What about you?
I did. It didn't like work that well. They made me an offer and I was like, that's absurd. And I tried to go up about like 6 or 7, and they went up 2.
Oh, really?
And they like came back and they're like, this is the most we can give you.
No, that sounds like it worked perfectly, or at least a lot fucking better than it should for someone who comes in all like, this is absurd. You didn't get as high as you wanted, but they came back and settled on something more than the base pay. That's how negotiations work. You seem a little confused. Lost, maybe.
Do you feel like you are paid what you deserve?
No.
She's a 25-year-old in an obscenely competitive field. Clearly, she deserves millions.
And at least as a woman, there's this like sort of imposter syndrome that you have going into a career where, you know, you feel like, how did I get this job? Like, do I know what I'm doing? Like, what am I doing here?
Yeah, I have hardcore imposter syndrome. I don't know who it would ever employ me or like how I'm even working.
Right, so it seems like a certain amount of self-doubt in a competitive industry isn't gendered at all. I mean, I've only felt that feeling with every job I've ever done, including my shitty YouTube videos. But as a woman, I'm sure it's tough feeling like you don't belong to the point where you're confidently saying this is absurd to initial job offer at 25 fucking years old. This might actually be the video that makes me hate women for real. I swear to God it was a joke before.
3, 2, 1.
You know what? Good. You sound like an asshole.
I mean, you are a couple years older than me.
That's true, yeah.
But I know that in a couple years I will not be making that amount.
Why? Why the fuck would you say that? One of the things I hate the most about this discrimination narrative is that it puts defeatist ideas like this into the brains of young girls. Apart from the fact that she seems like an absolute pain in the dick to work with and don't think that doesn't matter, assuming she's any good at this shit and she continues to improve, 2 more years of experience is going to make a huge difference in her wages, not to mention her value to other companies. But if you're dead set on failure, you're probably going to fail. Here's the fun part. Glamour has no reason to believe that any pay disparity exists between men and women at the specific companies these individuals work for. So at least Glamour knows to admit their videos are useless so as to avoid lawsuits by the participants' employers. Listen guys, money isn't everything, so give yours to me. Patreon and PayPal in the description. Goodbye.